don't they?
Scoots28 Max said, we need to respect the ball considerably more than we did in this match. However, it showed how good our defence can be to withstand the pressure. Griffin did respond to my Scopio critique. However, not sure Sneed pronounced Sneed.
I like the fact that you still pronounced it wrong.
I did it on purpose. Warrants a place anymore if he is going to miss kicks. Yeah, he missed his fourth kick of the game. It ended his streak. So he didn't... I think he ended his streak at 30 successful kicks.
There you go. Not quite the 41 world record equalling that we saw being set across town in East Hull, though.
No, we'll talk about that later.
Gets that in a bit. Brendan Loftus got in touch and said, not a review as I wasn't there. Only caught part of the game on the radio, but this was a huge victory for Hull. I know Wigan had plenty out and Hull's tries showed some of Wigan's inexperience. Loads of media chat about Hull needing to win at a weakened Wigan. Great signs for Wigan with their comeback too. Think Wigan Leeds will be huge this week and FC need to be wary of Wire. Well, you were there, I assume.
Yeah.
So
I'd given up all hope at the start of the second half.
Abandon all hope, you went to here.
Griffin was very good. Gellin wasn't fit. As showed,
Clearly, he's put his hand up to play, hasn't he?
He has done, yeah. And I don't know whether that was a mistake or not. But Griffin's best breaks, best moments actually came through getting through other players. But it was because Gelling wasn't supporting those players. He wasn't getting to where he needed to be a few times. Yeah. He wasn't putting the oomph in. Which is not... Effort is something that I would never suggest Anthony Gelling lacks. So, obviously, I'll take the coach's word that he had a thigh strain and probably shouldn't have ever played in the game. He went off shortly after Hull... right after Hull's fourth try. That ultimately was the try that won the game. A very, very good try scored by Jamie Shaw, turning a couple of players around there after a good break from Griffin. Good play across the park, actually, from Hull. Hull scored 4 very good tries, if I'm honest. And whilst Wigan probably could have done something more to stop the Albert Kelly one, Albert Kelly is riding this wave of just bouncing off people, catching balls he has no right to catch, breaking tackles he has no right to break. He is so effervescent with what he's doing that it's all falling his way, and richly deserved on the way he's going at it, to be perfectly honest. Don't begrudge him what happened, even though Wigan should have fucking stopped him. The Jake Connor try was a great offload by Sika Manu. We've seen that already this year once or twice. Good set-up play as well by Minicello on that one. And the Steve Michaels try, well, Wigan were just caught short wide, basically. But to be honest, I don't know if it ever should have got to that point, because in the play before, it was the last tackle play, and having watched it several times, I still can't be absolutely sure that Frank Paul Nuasala touched the ball that bounced up into the air and not Gareth Ellis. Yeah. And Gareth Ellis was offside. I'm not convinced the Wigan player played at the kick from Kelly.
Right.
But all of that doesn't matter, because the referees who were closer to the action than me saw it, how they saw it. The forward pass that came on the next play was missed. It all was seen how it was seen. Fair enough, that was how it was read. Wigan then had a try disallowed through Tom. By the way, you talked about them being Hull being like you mentioned Wakefield, was it? You mentioned for the comeback in the second half.
Yes.
Or Lee, sorry, for the shooting out to an early lead.
Yeah.
They were more like Cass, because they scored those 18 points in a 10-12 minute spell of absolute glorious rugby league. Wigan couldn't touch them. I mean, there was those incidents that went their way, but Wigan couldn't touch them. Tom Davies then had a try ruled out. The touch judge, I think, said that Steve Michaels had got to him and put him into touch before he scored. From my seat, which was along that sideline, thought he jumped from the field of play with his left foot,
right.
Managed his body quite well in the air and got the ball down, and there's clear photographs of him getting the ball down, but obviously the touch judge was very much closer than me, saw it differently. I think it was one that got away. I think it was one that was called wrong, but it was called what it was. Liam Forsyth had a try ruled out early in the second half, which I couldn't see from where I was, because the ball came loose on the far side of where it was. It does look like it bounced out of his hands. And the in-goal judge gave that. Bentham was ready to give the try. The in-goal judge said, actually, I think the ball bounced out. So, you've got to take the officials' decisions on what they were, whether you like them or not. Anyway, Wigan then mounted the great comeback, scored a great try of their own through... Well, Forsyth's try, he grabbed it out of the air whilst getting absolutely pulverised by Mahe Fanua. So how he kept hold of the ball, I do not know. George Williams scored a great try, a good play from Liam Marshall. Tom Davies scored a diving try that was given, and he was a star for Wigan, was young Tom Davies. Liam, considering we're talking about the 4th and 6th choice wingers, outstanding stuff for Wigan. And then... Liam Marshall scored a try, but Esquire was miles off with a kick. Wigan had a good chance late on, very late on. The George Williams had made a break made a half break, lost the ball in contact close to the line. I think he was trying to push an offload, and it didn't come off. But just before that, there was a definite holding down that, had the game not been on the line, you would have, or had it not been the last 5 minutes of the game, 3 minutes of the game, you probably would have seen given. Wigan did everything they could to come back into the game, but were the worst side in the game for 43 minutes. Right. So on that basis, Hull deserved to win. They were the better side for 52% of the game, or whatever that means. So they did deserve to win on that merit. Their defence was very good, better than I've seen it this year, and hats off to them for the resilience. They did lose their best defensive player as well after 10 minutes of the game. It didn't affect them in attack, losing Houghton, but it did affect them. You'd expect it to have affected them if the game went on, because he covers for everyone else not being as fit as Wigan are, basically. Yeah. And if Hull's forward pack were as fit as Wigan's forward pack, this would have been an easy win, you would suspect. Without Houghton there to do his 50-odd tackles, tackle 52 or whatever, and cover for other players like he does, that would be a worry for me as a Hull fan. But Washbrook played well in the dummy half role. Gareth Ellis was the man of the match for me, though. He played a little bit wider for times for most of this game, and was running brilliant lines, was bottling things up. He was putting... Isa was not connecting well with Williams at all in the first half. Isa had to move to the centre in the second half on the other side of the field, and played a little bit better because he was doing more like early tackle carries and working hard and doing what he does well. But he was not running good lines off Williams, and kept making Williams have to step inside, which disjointed Wigan's attack horribly in the first half, and Hull defended the goal line very well for that. But a lot of that was through Gareth Ellis pushing up, and then with the ball he was just taking great lines constantly and making players be out of position, which led to the space for Hull to do some of the other stuff that they were able to do. So he was the man of the match for me, Gareth Ellis, although Kelly's highlight reel moment was great. Wigan, just to cover things off injury-wise, Wigan had Gelling go off and Flower go off with in-game injuries. I think Houghton went off in the 10th minute, Gelling went off in the 43rd minute, Flower went off in about the 67th minute, 70th minute, something like that, and then Connor missed the last 3 minutes of the game, 3 or 4 minutes of the game, I believe. So both teams had, reduced interchanges throughout the game there, so in-game injuries kind of evened out almost. And Hull were playing their third choice winger, who was their first choice winger last year, and were playing their third choice centre, who was a starter for another team in Super League for 23 games last year. So, and then the other two players that were missing, Watson and Turgot, were through their own fault, through suspension. So I think Hull need to have a reality check if they're talking about injuries, or be worried about the shape of their squad if 4 injuries, 2 of them to outside backs that are eminently replaceable with the talent that you signed, are going to cause you that much concern.
I don't think it realistically does. I don't think it realistically does cause them concern. And this is on the back of.
Well, Wigan weren't talking about their injuries, and Wigan fans weren't talking about their injuries. It was like Total RL doing the piece about how many games they've missed. Sky talking about how many games players are out for. Yeah, Wigan just rolled up and did what they always do. There
you go, absolutely. And it was a good game by all accounts. The Albert Kelly try. I'm disinclined to blame Wigan I'm more inclined to lay credit at his door. But
he just kept going, didn't he?
Exactly, absolutely, and that's almost a sea change in Albert Kelly as well. That's a tougher side to him. That I like. Well, there's always been that bit of ungle in him anyway, hasn't there? So I like to see that tough side to his running game come out, and he finished it marvellously because he had work to do. Even when he broke that second tackle, he still had work to do with the fend and then the lean forward to get the ball down. That was tremendous. But I can't add any more to what you've just said because you've just. What can I add to that?
All's tries were great, and All's tries were great, and in the first half, Wigan couldn't touch them at times.
So what did the stats tell us on this one then?
Well, this was the fourth highest missed tackle/tackle bust figures in SLP history. 88 in the game of each of those is the respective highest totals in a game this year. So unsurprising that the worst combined tackle success happened this year. 88% between the two sides. Wigan with a woeful 89% team tackle success were still 2.3% better than a Hull's team tackle success. And we're talking about good, decent defensive sides usually. From the stats, there's no way Wigan should have lost this game, really, actually. One key stat they lost in was average gain, a big 1.5 metres per carry loss. So, that was crucial. And goal success, 50% to Wigan. Snade got 75%. But 52 more carries, and there were only 71 more metres. 3 fewer handling errors, but still 14 to Hull 17. Only 3 penalties conceded to Hull 7. An extra clean break, an extra 10 successful offloads, a big plus 36, big 46 differential in the positive-negative plays. But Hull somehow showed the resilience and the toughness to just about hang on, which they have to be credited for. 129 positive and 129 negative impact plays by the sides combined in this one were the most in a game for each this year. Those previously mentioned tackle bust/missed tackle stats are a big part of why those numbers were so high. No other game this year has finished with a level count, so that was rare.
Yeah, look at that. Well, yeah.
So there you go. So interesting stuff there.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. That's freakish, isn't it? Yeah. Every credit. Individually, who stood out for us?
Gareth Ellis with 108 metres. Mark Minocello with 40 tackles, and missing from sort of the stats was the really good sort of crabbish cross the play and then an offload that set up Sika Manu on his way for the Connor try, which was a really good play. But Wigan were all over the show defensively because of what those two were doing at that stage. Those two players mentioned already. Mahe Fanu 108 metres, Albert Kelly with a try, 5 tackle bust, 102 metres, Josh Griffin try assist 149 metres, 2 clean breaks.
Again for him. So for your boys, who stood out?
Frank Paul Nuasala with 110 metres, 5 successful offloads. He played big minutes for Wigan in this one. Willie Ice with a try assist and 120 running metres. Liam Marshall with a try, 102 metres, 2 clean breaks. George Williams with a try, 2 try assists, 12 tackle busts, 129 metres, 6 successful offloads. That was a lot because he kept having to push inside and stuff. He actually had a really close call on a try in the first half where on the video, looking back at it, it was closer than I thought it was at the time. I thought it was a great tackle combined by, I think, Shaw and I can't remember who the other player was, sorry, to Hull fans, but really good tackle to stop him right on the line. But on the replays, it looked like it was closer to being on the line. But that was some tough defence that Hull were able to show that on him.
He's going places, that kid, isn't he?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, Australia being one of them, yeah.
Tom Davies with a try, 8 tackle balls, 198 running metres, 4 clean breaks.
Phenomenal.
And that one diving highly skillful effort ruled out by the touch judge. The goal judge and the referee were happy with it.
Those are fabulous stats for a young lad. Is that his debut?
No, it was his second
match
game.
That's astounding. Bravo.
And we're talking,
Bravo.
We're talking 6th choice winger. Because our 5th choice winger had to be the 3rd choice centre, and or the 4th choice centre, our 3rd choice centre, I don't know, lose count. And our 4th choice winger on the other side. That's how deep Wigan can go.
Great to you. Okay, final game of the weekend.
Nick Gregson had his return from injury as well. I remember he got that horrible knee injury at Widnes last year. Well, he returned from injury in the second half and actually looked okay, and I kind of wish he played a bit more of the game.
Fair enough. Well, you might get a chance to see him next week, mate. Okay, final game of the weekend then, Sunday afternoon. Catalan Dragons shot out to a 14-point lead before Castleford realised that they were capable of beating pretty much anybody and finished the game 43 points to 26 winners in front of 8,126.
Record attendance for a Castleford home game against Catalans, I'm told. But yeah, Tyler got in touch first. He said, Francois Hollande, Gerard Depardieu, Napoleon Bonaparte. After giving you 14-point start, we gave your boys one hell of a beating. We pulled down your oddballs panties and spanked your fat bottoms until they were black and blue. Now go home and take your Willie army with you and don't come back.